Parliamentary proceedings taking the air at 10 hours. On live commentary, I'm Claudette Sindaza Jonga.
Good morning, my name is Taze Piri, and of course we're joined by our sign language interpreter, Jason Menda, and later on we will have Chola Kauma. And just now, we go straight into the business that was considered on the floor of the House yesterday, Thursday, 7th May 2026. And when business commenced, Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Lake Road PTA School in Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
After that announcement, the House considered questions for oral answer number 344 to 347, understanding order number 80. A notice was taken at 10:31 that a quorum was not formed, so Madam Speaker ordered the bells to be rung. House counted, and the quorum having been formed, business resumed.
And thereafter, a motion was moved by Mr. Sunday Chanda, Kanchibia Member of Parliament, urging that this House adopts the report of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the presidential appointment for Mr. Justice Chalwe Farai Chenga, State Counsel, Lady Justice Abba Patel, State Counsel, Lady Justice Gertrude Chawatama, and Mr. Butler Stali to serve as judges of the Supreme Court.
And Mr. Justice Charles Zulu to serve as Deputy President of the Court of Appeal, and Lady Justice Sharon Kaundanewa, Lady Justice Irene Zeko Mbewe, Lady Justice Bridget Chilombo Maka, Lady Justice Ruth Chibabuka, Lady Justice Concepta Chinyawa Zulu, and Lady Justice Susan Wenjelani to serve as judges of the Court of Appeal for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 16th May 2026.
Yes, indeed, and this motion was resolved, meaning the motion was adopted. Thereafter, the House went on to consider some government bills at a second reading stage, and the following bills were considered. The first bill was the Civil Aviation Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2026. Bill was read a second time and committed to the Committee of the Whole House. And during the consideration of this bill, notice was taken at 14:30 hours that quorum not formed. Madam First Deputy Speaker ordered the bells to be rung, House counted, and quorum having been formed, business resumed. And so we do expect committee stage of this bill to be considered in due course.
The House also considered the Civil Aviation Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2026. It was read the second time and committed to the whole House. Committee stage is expected to take place in due course. The House then considered the benefits of former presidents and former vice presidents bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2026. It was equally read the second time.
And other bills that were considered include the Pension Scheme Regulation Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2026. The bill was read the second time and committed to the Committee of the Whole House. Committee stage is expected to be considered in due course. And lastly, the Public-Private Partnership Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2026, was read a second time and committed to the Committee of the Whole House, and committee stage is expected to be considered in due course. The House adjourned accordingly at 16:25 hours, and we do expect Madam Speaker to take the chair today at about 10 hours. So we shift our attention to today's order paper.
And so today's order paper is as follows. We have Honor the Vice President's Question Time, 45-minute segment that calls members of Parliament to ask Honor the Vice President questions without notice. The House will also consider questions for oral answer, understanding order number 80. That's two of them. We do expect some motions, two of them, and some bills to be considered at different stages. Before we look at the questions for oral answer, we'll have a look at the two motions that are expected to be considered on the floor of the House.
Yes, indeed, Claudette, we take a look at the two motions. We do expect the first motion to be moved by Mr. Twambo Mutinta Itej-Teji, Member of Parliament, to move a motion urging that this House adopts the report of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the presidential appointment of Mr. Rogers Kabwe Kauma, Mr. Ikechuku Iduma, Ms. Makalo Soso Mwanza, Honorable Davis Chimbwili, Honorable Sylvia Munyinya Okoho, Honorable Katrina Maimbolwa Waluvita, Mr. Mutafela Chimuka, Honorable Irene Tilisa Wishimanga, Ms. Claudia Luswili, Mrs. Kaumbi Mutinta Ndulo Mundia, Ms. Thelma Kumbiza Mumba, Ms. Maureen Samlele Tresha.
Others include Mrs. Angelica Kennedy Mwanza, Mr. Japhet Zulu, Ms. Diana Mizinga Majokwe, Ms. Comfort Mulenga, Mrs. Sombo Chinyama Kachaka, Mrs. Sekelabaka Muamba Kunda Chola, Mr. Peter Chileshe, Ms. Bubala Chibonta, Ms. Anna Chisanga Nsama, Ms. Ruth Luwongo Mbambi, Mr. Kalifano Tiza Musanje Manyepa, Mr. Makubi Chiwale, Mr. Kabukabu Sikwibele, and Mr. James Bako Chipalo as judges of the High Court of Zambia. And the presidential appointment of Major General Vincent Mukanda retired as Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and Mr. Zevianji Sinkala as Commissioner of the Electoral Commission of Zambia for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 7th May 2026.
And the second motion is expected to be moved by Mr. Michelo Kasauta, Wengwa Member of Parliament, urging that this House adopts the report of the Parliamentary Reforms and Modernization Committee on the formulation of strategic priorities to guide the development of a new Assembly of Zambia Strategic Plan 2027 to 2031 for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 7th May 2026. So those are the two motions that we expect the House to consider today.
After that, there's going to be consideration of government bills at different stages, starting with the Public Service Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 9 of 2026, the Human Rights Commission Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2026, the Markets and Bus Stations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2026, the Standards Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2026, the Occupational Health and Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 62 of 2026, they will be considered at second reading stage.
Other bills include the Patents and Companies Registration Agency Bill, Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 63 of 2026, and the Zambia Development Agency Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 65 of 2026 to equally be considered at second reading stage, and other bills will be considered at committee stage, and these include the Civil Aviation Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2026, the Civil Aviation Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2026, and we also expect the Education Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2026 to equally be considered at committee stage.
Other bills that will be considered at committee stage include the Public Roads Bill, National Assembly Bill number 8 of 2026, the Higher Education Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2026, the Legal Aid Bill, National Assembly Bill number 13 of 2026, the Metrology Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2026, the Tobacco Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, the Environmental Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 17 of 2026, the Business Regulatory Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2026, and the National Council for Construction Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2026.
Other bills include the National Heritage Conservation Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2026, the National Youth Development Council Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2026, the Prohibition of Development Production, Stockpiling and Use of Chemical Weapons Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2026, and we also expect the Minerals Regulation Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 32 of 2026 to be considered at committee stage.
And we expect the House to consider the National Museum Bill, National Assembly Bill number 34 of 2026, the Citizen Economic Empowerment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 35 of 2026, the Coffee Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2026, the Energy Regulation Board, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2026, and lastly for today, the Biosafety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2026, and these will be considered at committee stage. So those are the government bills that will be considered at second reading stage and committee stage. And just about now, we'll have a look at the questions that we have on the order paper, questions under standing order number 80. There are actually two of them.
Yes, indeed, Claudette. And before we get into the questions, we must make mention that we do expect the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry to render a ministerial statement, and that's on industrialization. And just now, we get into the details of the questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80 that we expect the House to consider. We do expect question 348 to be asked by Mr. Mulenga Fube, who is Chilubi Member of Parliament, and his question will be directed at the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. He wants to know in A, whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate the Serenje-Samfya Road to a motorable standard. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And in C, what the estimated cost of the project is. In D, what the time frame of the completion of the project is. And in E, if there are no such plans, why?
We do expect a Chama Member of Parliament, Mr. Nundwe, to ask the Minister of Water, Development and Sanitation whether the government is aware that during the rainy season, Ngwenya Dam in Chama constituency overflows due to absence of adequate water escape points, thereby causing flooding in surrounding areas. In the other part of the question, the Chama lawmaker wants to find out, if so, whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate the dam and create a spillway to carry away the excess water, thereby prevent recurrent flooding in the area, which is densely populated, when the plans will be implemented, what the cost of the exercise is, and what the time frame of the completion of the exercise is, and lastly, if there are no such plans, why. So those are the two questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80 that will be considered today.
Yes, indeed, and we must make mention that business of the House is expected to start anytime soon. Just now, we take you to the floor of the House. Keep watching Parliament Television.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Tendency of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for the right. We want freedom's fight for one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those who blend. Let us so happy people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry, dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise, bless our great land.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
Good morning, you're tuned into Parliament Television. Business can only resume once a quorum is constituted. 1/3 of members of Parliament need to be present in the House in order for business to be transacted. And so we'll have a look at the order paper once again. We do have our honor, the Vice President's question time. And this will be followed by a ministerial statement by the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mlenga, on industrialization. The House is expected to consider 2 questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80.
The House is also expected to consider 2 motions, and thereafter we do expect the House to consider some bills at different stages. Of course, we do expect 7 bills to be considered at second reading stage and 20 bills to be considered at committee stage.
And so the House is expected to consider the Public Service Pensions Bill, National Assembly Bill number 9 of 2026, the Human Rights Commission Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2026, the Markets and Bus Stations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2026, the Standards Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2026, the Occupational Health and Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 62 of 2026, and these will be considered at second reading stage.
Other bills include the Patents and Companies Registration Agency Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 63 of 2026, the Zambia Development Agency Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 65 of 2026, at second reading stage, and the bills to be considered at committee stage include the Civil Aviation Amendment
Honorable
Bill.
members with the login credentials, please can you log in so we can start business.
So other bills to be considered at committee stage include the Civil Aviation Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2026. Just now, we take you to the floor of the House.
Order, honorable members, we can start our business. I have 2 announcements. The first one is, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers who I cannot see though, from Luansha Central Secondary School in Luansha District. It appears they are still on the way. In absentia, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. The next announcement, honorable members, I wish to inform the House that in accordance with the Standing Order 1211 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, the following bills have been withdrawn by the sponsoring ministries. 1. The Public Service Pension Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 9 of 2026. 2. The Human Rights Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly of Zambia Bill number 28 of 2026. And 3. The Markets and Bus Stations Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2026. Accordingly, the bill shall not be considered by the House. I thank you. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Madam Speaker, I rise to make an urgent matter without notice that is directed at Our Honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, any event happening or decision that threatens the lives of our people must be treated with urgency. A lady called Narishebo Mutinta from Lukute Primary School in Sioma District, Madam Speaker, could not handle the pressure of contracting debts and took doom and has, gone to glory. Over 10,000 that she contracted for our upkeep during the mobile NRC registration
Sorry
exercise.
for the interruption, Honorable Member from Nkana. Let me just give guidance. That information that you are referring to, is it factual, is it verifiable before you go further?
It is, Madam Speaker.
Can you lay the information on the table?
Madam Speaker, I'll provide the information. It is on the phone. I can have that printed and bring it to you.
No, Honorable Member, you know that when you came to the House this morning, you knew you were going to raise that matter. I always guide that we should not rely on social media as our source of information. So since the information is not before this House, the information that you are giving is not, it might be true but not verifiable. So unfortunately, we cannot proceed with that urgent matter without notice.
I can remove the names, Madam Speaker.
But you've already mentioned the names.
I withdraw the names.
Okay, no, it's not admitted. Let's make progress. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to direct an urgent matter without notice to the Minister of Mines. The Minister of Mines is not present, so I wish to refer the matter to Our Honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, yesterday a mine accident occurred at one of the gold mines in Mumbwa. I'm sure the area member of Parliament is aware that 5 lives are reportedly lost. We have miners that are trapped at a gold mine in Mumbwa. And Madam Speaker, this matter is now in public domain. It has been publicized by registered news outlets that 5 people are feared dead in Mumbwa, Madam Speaker, at a gold mine. Madam Speaker, for the last 4 years, we've been discussing mining and ensuring that it is done safely. We've had repeated assurance from government that measures will be put in place to ensure that our young people do mining in very safe environments. Madam Speaker, Parliament will be adjourning. We will not have an opportunity to get government assurance on what steps government is taking to ensure that such instances, Madam Speaker, do not reoccur. Losing 5 lives and many others who we don't know in terms of the official record requires some form of government assurance, Madam Speaker, before we go, because illegal mining or mining that is not formalized is happening across many parts of Zambia. And Madam Speaker, an assurance would be needed. Government needs to be accorded an opportunity before we dispatch to our respective constituencies, Madam Speaker, just to assure our young people that mining will be formalized and done safely to prevent further loss of lives, Madam Speaker. I seek your indulgence on this very urgent matter, Madam Speaker, where young lives may have been lost. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Although I've not seen that report, I don't know if it's in public domain, but maybe from the executive side, are we aware of this? Like, do we have an acting Minister of Mines? to confirm that position? Or okay, the Honorable Member or Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And indeed, maybe just a small correction. No life yet has been confirmed lost. We are still on a rescue operation. Of course, government is very, very concerned and is doing everything possible that we rescue about 5 people, as the area member of parliament for Nkana has stated, for Kamfisa, sorry, has stated. So government indeed is concerned, and government will do everything possible to try and rescue our people. Currently, Madam Speaker, there's a rescue team from the Ministry of Mines, from DMMU, from the neighboring mines there, as well as the mines in Ampundwe. So there's a robust plan there currently ongoing. And indeed, yesterday we visited our people in Nangoma, and we assured them of government support. Currently, families are gathered on site, obviously awaiting good news. So whatever outcome comes, government will not leave its people. We will be there with them. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Since the process is ongoing in terms of investigations, maybe for the benefit of this House and also the people that have listened to the Honorable Member for Kamfinsa, just to give a correct position, or will the Honorable Minister be available to give an update at a later date as long as the House is still sitting?
Yes, Madam Speaker, and I've in fact discussed with the Honorable Minister of Mines, Honorable Kabuswe. We will quickly come back to the House and update this House about as the rescue operation progresses or whatever happens on this matter. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. So the Honorable Minister, once the rescue operation has been done and there's some information, more information, the Honorable Minister of Mines will come to the House to give a brief on what the status of that accident is. Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Shwangando.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The urgent matter without notice I'm raising is directed to our Honour the Vice President.
You may proceed, the Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honour the Vice President, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, by administration, falls under your office. Yesterday, Electoral Commission of Zambia released schedules for filing in of nominations regarding the presidential candidates. We are aware that Electoral Commission of Zambia is guided by the supreme document of the land, which is the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia, and Electoral Process Act of 2012 as it stands. Surprisingly, accompanying those schedules, Madam Speaker, is a statement which is an extract of a clause in a bill which is yet to be considered by this August House at the second reading. The current Electoral Processes Bill of 2026. And that extract is speaking to a clause which is providing for how adoption certificates for the presidential candidates will be signed. Is the Electoral Commission in order to start citing a law which law hasn't been passed by this August House? Madam Speaker, the nation is agonizing over this matter, and it's important that our Honour provides guidance on the same. I seek your serious ruling.
Oh, the honorable members. Our Honour the Vice President is in attendance and she's here, she was listening. Maybe she can clarify in view of the allegations that have been made so that we balance the information. Our Honour the Vice President. Madam Speaker, thank you very much for that urgent matter without notice. All that I can say for now, Madam, is I have not seen that personally, and I haven't been briefed on that. I can later maybe come and speak to that. For now, I can't make a comment because it's referring to the fact that they are using the 2026 electoral process law. And I can't speak to that now. I don't have that information. I'll follow it up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the matter will be followed up. And that's why we always say, honorable members, that when you have an issue like that, you lay the information on the table so for verification. Because the honorable member for Shiwangando, or maybe other members have seen that. But other people, we cannot assume that everybody has seen that document. So it's always important when we raise a matter to lay the documents on the table. That's the evidence so that we know the matter is truthful, factual, and verifiable. So anyway, Her Honor, the Vice President will come back and give comments on that. So that concludes urgent matters without notice. Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given to ask Your Honor a question. Your Honor, as we approach election time in a few months to come, many innocent Zambians who would want to seek public office may face humiliation, embarrassment, anguish as a result of the falsehood and insults, and also character assassination that may come from those who would want to gain political mileage, as it were. Already right now, we are able to see glaring headlines where innocent people, there is falsehood being thrown at them. Despite the fact that we have a legal framework in place to deter, such people from bringing others down. I would like to find out what advice, Your Honor, you can give to such people who would want to destroy other people's careers and reputations in order to gain mileage as we draw closer to election time. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Member for Kwacha, for that question, which is a concern on the, I think it is political scenario that we are into now, that some people will humiliate others. They will use insults. They will say wrong things, character assassination and things like that. What is my advice? But you also said there is law that should help to curb or to stop such behavior. Number one is the responsibility of ourselves as players on the political scene. Us, players, that includes all of us who are political players. Sincerely, we should understand what politics are, Madam Speaker. Politics are not enmity. Politics are not meant for destruction. Politics are meant to build. Politics are a service. So if you are into politics for service, why do you want to destroy another person? Why do you want, Madam Speaker, to destroy somebody's personality? We have a duty as leaders in the land to change the political landscape in the manner that we do our politics. All of us should have our little manifestos that we want to use, rather than go and start insulting. And indeed, that law you have referred to, which my mind can't capture right now, must be invoked. If it means going to law enforcers, let us do it. Whether it is using cyberspace, I think there is protection in the cyberspace. When people choose to insult others, you don't sell yourself by insulting another person. You don't sell yourself by talking evil of the other person. Tell them what you are ready to do for them. And that's what they will hold you accountable for. So it's my prayer, standing here, given this opportunity, Madam Speaker, the last 45 minutes in the 13th National Assembly is very special. And I appreciate a question like that for me to speak to all of us and the entire nation. You have a duty to love. You have a duty to ensure peace. You have a duty to ensure unity, and it is personal commitment. It has to be personal commitment for you to do things within this space. Love, peace, and unity. Against that, there is no law. Let us search our hearts and go out to speak to our people. Don't use insults. Otherwise, the law will catch up with you. I think that is the way to go. That's my advice, Honorable Member for Kwacha. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Vice President, fraternal greetings from Katombola constituency, the land of happy people. Madam Speaker, my question has to do with the tranquility, the good order, the peace this country is enjoying, and we are going into the elections, Madam Speaker. In the past election we had in 2021, Madam Speaker, people are driving in the opposite lane, people are on the roads blocking this and that, violence like never seen before. But this time, this country is enjoying good order. Could you assure, Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President, could you assure the nation that this good order, this tranquility, non-violence in the markets, in the streets, will continue during and after elections, Madam Vice President? I thank you.
Nice question. Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you very much. And good morning, Honorable Katombola, who is from the land of happy people. We share in that happiness and we appreciate, because happiness is important also for life. The Honorable Member, Madam Speaker, talks of the need for good order, for peace, for tranquility in the land, particularly during elections. He refers to the last elections that was chaotic, that was violent, that was disorderly. And then his question is, can I give assurance to the Zambian people that these things that we saw last will not happen again? Yes, I will assure the Zambian people. And in assuring the Zambian people, I'll speak also to the police service. Let them do their work properly. And I mean it, properly. Let them ensure there is no such chaos. Let them ensure there is no such violence. The president sitting here made a commitment that these elections will be peaceful. These elections will be credible. These elections must bring us together. And this, as I was saying in the last question, must be the commitment of each one of us. Yes, this government, under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, will not allow the chaos. We will not allow disorder. We will not even allow what we saw, the bloodshed, killing and not killing, hacking each other, fighting stones. No. It will be peaceful, madam. These are elections, you can participate. Allow participation of women.
Women fear because of the violent environment. We can assure you women out there, come out in numbers, participate either as candidates or as voters, because this government will ensure that the environment remains peaceful. That is what we are going to do. There will be tranquility in the land. Let us keep it from here as we go out. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just following. I'm just following as indicated. The Honorable Member for Mongu Central.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, the Vice President. Madam Vice President, this government, our government, your government, has been a government of success on many fronts. We think of free education that has brought more than 2.5 million young people who are destined for destitute back to school. We think of this enhanced CDF that has brought development in all our 156 constituencies. This has enabled a constituency like Mongu Central, which was neglected under the past government, to build new markets, new schools, clinics, water sanitation in all our areas, including in Namasho, where since independence there has never been development. We think of the new laws that have been enacted, including Bill 7, that has brought women into the fold. Many women now will come to Parliament because of this new Dawn government. Now, because of this progress that has been made by this government, even the opposition has become defunct. Only those who were the good members of the opposition now, they have joined us now, meaning they have become irrelevant. Those who have remained, those who are those with an appetite to continue looting that they used to do. Now,
what's your question, Honorable?
My question, Madam Speaker, is as we adjourn next Tuesday, Madam Vice President, what is your message to the voters, the more than 8 million voters who are now on the books of ECZ? What is your message to them so that they can continue to enjoy the development, the progress, and the liberties that this new Dawn government has brought? I thank you, Madam Vice President.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Mongu Central, for that very, very important question and deserving a discussion in the House today on the last 13th, on the last Friday of the 13th National Assembly. It's important indeed to look back at the success of this government, which the entire House agrees with, that this government, Madam, has scored according to the promises that they made, according to the manifesto, the promises that they made to the Zambian people. They have scored. And this is therefore the message to the Zambian people. Where I come from, we have a saying, I hope I will interpret it right in English. It's very good. Ichiweme chilombelo muchele. Sotsana. Ichiweme chilombela umuchele. When something is good, Honorable Kampion can help me interpret. Ichiweme chilombelo muchele. Madam, you can allow him to interpret.
Honorable Member for Shiwangandu, you've been asked to help with the interpretation.
Don't distort my position to ask a question, Madam Speaker.
No, I've already got you on my list, don't worry.
Madam Speaker, what I want to say, it's about the good relish attracting salt. But when that good relish attracts more salt, you can't eat it.
Asante sana. Thank you, Madam Honorable Shwangandu. Thank you very much.
That's interpretation, Madam Speaker.
Very much.
Thank you. You may take your seat.
It's dangerous for us men
Thank
especially.
you very much. Very good interpretation. Good relish attracts the salt by itself. Thank you very much. This is what this government is. It is such good government, Honorable. It is such good government that people are just coming on their own. That's exactly what that means. This is what is happening. The Zambian people have seen, and therefore I have no doubt in my mind that there is no Zambian person who is going to vote against free education. I really don't think that any Zambian will go and vote against the increased CDF. No. I don't think any Zambian, Madam Speaker, will go and vote against a progressive law like bringing more women in Parliament. No. I don't think any youth will go and vote against the inclusion of youth in the House. I don't think any, other than my son, I know.
Meaning, we didn't hear that.
It is my son, the Honorable Fonkana, is for the young, but they have no experience. Now I'm saying this is for the elders. So, Madam Speaker, really, really, I don't think that any Zambian of the 8 million plus would go and vote otherwise when development is coming. Which mother can go and vote against the school feeding program? Which mother can do that? Which woman will go and vote against maternity wing extensions? Which man will vote against wonderful agriculture policies, which is a business? Which man? Which young person will go and vote against the wonderful progress in the sports? Which person will vote against this progress and success that really I can't go through, otherwise I'll be told you are taking too long, because it's a long, long list. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable Member for Shwangandu, having come to our aid, maybe you can take the slot now.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and I appreciate the opportunity you gave me to interpret the Umuchele Munama. For sure. You are the Vice President. In the same line, we heard you speak to your successes. But I remember you standing the same position where you are there, assuring the Zambian citizens that they were no longer going to be finding those sachets of cooking oil at the markets because you wanted to fish the stocks that you inherited in the shops, and that the new stocks were going to ensure that the prices of cooking oil, prices of mini meal were going to be at 50 kwacha, and indeed the fuel and fertilizer was going to be at 250 kwacha, and Zambian people will be waiting as we wind up. Now that we are at the tail end, and we were told that once the budget that was left by us, with your new budget, there were going to be miracles. And people by today should have been buying a liter of fuel at 10 kwacha. given this scenario, as opposed to what my colleagues are trying to, there are what we call umbani madoda, who can dance to a song they don't even understand. And they are usually misleading the leaders. Here you can see that the seats are empty because people are trying to make sure that they try to deal with those promises. My question, Madam Speaker, is, what can you say about the Narumangonomics, which you promise the people, and all these few things I've mentioned were premised on the Narumangonomics of increasing prices in order to reduce. What commodities would you tell the Zambian people to say, Zambian people, as a practical demonstration of how the Narumangonomics have worked? Today you are buying fertilizer at 250, or you are buying the cooking oil at below 100 kwacha. Madam Speaker, these are the rivalry matters that people will be expecting to hear from our Honor the Vice President. I thank you.
Thank you. Her Honor the Vice President.
Very important question. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Shiwang. And there is one thing the Honorable has done, just a little twist. I don't use figures standing here. I don't say this will be, because this is what he said standing here, that this will move from 10 kwacha to 5 kwacha. I don't use figures. So, Honorable, that's an addition from your interpretation of what I've said here. Narumangonomics has done so well under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema. Colleagues, no matter how clever you want to put your point, the reality still remains. The Honorable Member, just to get, I may not get every detail of what you said, but I understand the principle. What you are saying is the economy has not improved. Since we came in, the economy has not improved. And for you and me, we start from the factors or the indicators, as the owners would say it. That is where we start from before we go to the cooking oil you are talking about. Surely, the indicators, finance is not here today. The indicators, even commerce is not here. Madam Speaker, the indicators today are showing that our kwacha has appreciated. That is economy, isn't it? When your currency is appreciating, you say it's not working? Then I don't know what you want. We are the people who should help other people understand from this house. The kwacha has appreciated. And I've seen something, maybe I never picked on my life in understanding, that this kwacha in Zambia, for some days, has been the best performing currency in the world. Surely you can't appreciate that? You can say yeah again. The best performing currency. Impia ya Zambia yako saa kuchirefia. The Zambian currency becoming stronger, the best performing compared on earth. Come on. This has been done under this leadership of Mr. President Hakainde Hichilema, the calculator. Yeah, that is true. It is not an indicator. Another indicator, Honorable, is the inflation rate. Yeah. Honestly, we found inflation 20 whatever. And today, it is 6+. And you are saying nothing is working. What does this mean? We have to go at the international level and national level. Honorable, it's important, and I've said this many times. This is Nalumangonomics. I have said all things being equal. You speak you said something in a situation as humans. If the nation Zambia, if the world was as it was in 2020, and this government was in power, what would Zambia look like? If UPND was in power in 2020, we would be something else. And therefore, we were speaking in 2021. And even with all the conditions, the things that have happened in the world, we still have held on to this economy. And therefore, when you talk of the price, you can question many times. You are actually speaking from nowhere. Because if this government didn't come in, we may not even have meal. We may not even have fertilizer. That is a fact. Madam, let them question. I am speaking. The floor is mine. The floor is mine. Honorable, you have done so much in agriculture. Because, colleagues, this is no joke. Bigger economies, now you can listen. Now let them cool down. The bigger economies are crying for fertilizer today. So if we didn't have fertilizer, how much would a bag of maize or meal be? That is the way we think. Yes, this is where I'm going. If we didn't produce fertilizer, are you imagining we would not have the maize because fertilizer would be not there or too dear, too expensive, and therefore the little maize that we could have had would have been extremely expensive. You asked. Huh? Yeah. So the pricing that we are looking at, we have to look at the entire world. The issue of fuel, madam. They saw how much we worked to bring the fuel pricing down. Today, your government has had to keep the price of fuel, has had to subsidize. Your government, madam. Because you will ask, I still have 20 minutes. Madam, this is the wonderful Friday. That is true. Fuel is high because worldwide it has become extremely expensive. Which source do you think you get your fuel which will be cheap? It's beyond. We are today. Zambian people, please listen. We are the cheapest in the region when it comes to fuel. That is a fact. So, we are doing so well. Honorable Member for Shiwangande, you are so welcome to support this government because of the good things we have done for the people of Shiwangande, for the people of Kaputa, for the people of Shangombo, for the people of Kalomo, and for the people of Kitwe. We are doing very well, sir. Don't misinterpret issues. We are also meeting them very soon as you meet them. Thank you. You can ask.
The Honorable Member for Sikongo.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if I were asked to describe the progress or the performance of the UPND government in its first term, I would simply say incredible, unbelievable, outrageous, mouth-watering, all due to the good leadership and methodical approach of President Hakainde Hichilema and his administration. Your Honored Vice President, how would you describe President Hakainde Hichilema, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, from a standpoint of an economic manager and a politician, especially given the positive progress, the positive socio-economic progress that we have achieved in the past 4 years and 8 months in this country. I thank you.
Beautiful time. Very nice. Her Honor, the Vice President. I hear that there is telegram, eh? A paper, a tabloid. It's not a tabloid, it's just a newspaper. Which grades my president as number 5 in the world. Yes, yes. But I think he says, how do I describe him? I would just say, wow. That is what I would say. He's the best for the time. He's the best economist. He's the best manager. He's the best marketer. He's the best president. That is what he is. Because they wanted to ask him, Madam, he's the best you have. And thank God for having him today. Thank you. Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to ask our Honor the Vice President a question. Madam Vice President, government is undertaking what is called geophysical surveys. After you do your geophysical surveys, Madam Vice President, you then do your mineral mapping. After you do your mineral mapping, Madam Vice President, you do your data processing. You then know where the minerals are. Now, because of that exercise, Madam Vice President, many Zambians are now interested in participating in large-scale mining, not the small-scale mining where you give people a small piece of land to do the actual mining. There's excitement from Zambians to venture into large-scale mining. My question to you, Madam Vice President, I'm an advocate for Zambians to own some of these mines. Not all of them, but at least some of these mines that we are discovering, Madam Vice President, should go to Zambians, not the small ones, the big ones. So I want to find out from you, Madam Vice President, what is the policy of government on ownership of these new mine sites that we are discovering? FQM is owned by our colleagues who are investors. Barrick is owned by our colleagues who are investors. Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the Vice President, what is the policy of government on these new sites? We are not saying we grab what has already been established. We are saying these new sites that we are discovering. Is there a policy that says, out of these sites, Madam Vice President, these will become owned by Zambians? Zambians are ready to put money together to put into some of these mining facilities. Madam Speaker, this is a question coming from the people of Zambia. They are happy that there are surveys that you are doing. Now they want assurance that some of these mine sites will be given to Zambians. We are ready to group ourselves, put money together, and invest into mining. Large scale, Madam Vice President, not the small mines, large scale. Madam Speaker, that is my question to our Honor the Vice President. What is the policy of government?
Thank you very much. Our Honor the Vice President. Thank you, Madam Speaker. That's a very, very important question. Very important question. You are talking of the geophysical, survey, the mapping that is being done, and the processing. But basically, you are saying, will Zambians also have an opportunity to own large-scale mines? That's you who is asking, not me. I'm repeating. You are saying they should own. Maybe I should put it that way. And the only thing that I want to correct you is like, investors, they are investors. Foreign investors are not the only investors. It starts from your mind definition, sir. You can be an investor in Zambian policy. There is no investment that is reserved for foreigners. We start from there. I'm serious talking about this. Because as long as we see investment as foreign, then we can't get in the space. Today, there is no law that stops a Zambian from getting a large-scale mine. You can own a large-scale mine. The geophysical mapping and so on you have referred to is not going to come to you and say, we have discovered gold in Kaputa, go. That is not the intention. This is knowledge for government. The way we go through the process will continue. You have to get a tenement, you have to do your own surveys and things like that. You are free. Even today, that I can tell you with evidence, you can go and get a mine, large-scale mine. Nothing stops you. Put together, like you have said, resources. This is one thing we should learn as Zambians, to work together. You are free and free and free. We want, this government wants Zambians to actually own these mines. We are hoping 40 tenements of what will be found can be owned by Zambians. But it's for Zambians to rise up. Please, you are welcome. I am speaking through you to the Zambians. Don't be deterred. You have a right to own a large-scale mine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is an indication from the Honourable Member for Chama North online. The Honourable Member for Chama North, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Good morning, Your Honor, the Vice President. Your Honor, the Vice President, when you are in the opposition, you promised that you are going to bring down the price of petroleum products, and that even when there was a global recession, you condemned the increase in petroleum products. And also under the PF government, even when there was some economic challenges, you still condemned the high price of petroleum products. Diesel now is at 3/4, and this is pushing up the cost of doing business and the cost of living. What measures are your government putting in place to ensure that the price of petroleum products are affordable, notwithstanding the current war in the Middle East?
Honourable Member for Chama North, please put on your video, your camera. Yes.
I'll put you on, Madam Speaker. Hello, Madam Speaker.
Proceed now, we can see you.
Well, my question is that when the UPND was in the opposition, they condemned the MMD, they condemned the PF over the high cost of petroleum products. Even despite when there was a global recession, the price of crude oil was escalating on the international market. UPND condemned the two past governments. Now, the price of petroleum products have been rising. The cost of diesel now is at 3/4, which is pushing up the cost of living and the cost of doing business in this country. So my question is, what measures is your government putting in place to ensure that the price of petroleum products come to top quarter, as you promised during the campaign, during the time when you are doing the campaigns? I thank you.
Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Honourable Member for Chama North. And I think basically to make it short is, what are we doing to bring down the price of petroleum? Madam Speaker, this is the same issue that I was responding to. To start talking of bringing down the price of petroleum, you saw that we started bringing it down, please. Now, today, do we produce petroleum? Are we not aware of the situation where petroleum comes from? Are we not aware? Why do we want to just do politics for the sake of it? This petroleum comes from somewhere else. And that is where the price has gone up. It is not here. In fact, I said this government, to cushion the Zambian people, has actually decided to be part of paying. That is a subsidy. on petroleum so that Zambians can get it cheaper. When it was at 18 kwacha, it was far much cheaper from source. That is the point. What we don't produce, you can't determine the price. But here, this government loves the people of Zambia and can still determine lower. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member from Pongwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, the recently advertised recruitment of teachers attracted about 50,000 applicants, which clearly shows that unemployed teachers have got confidence in the UPN government. However, a good number of applicants are those who are working in the private sector who are that they are getting as low as 1,500 kwacha per month. Are there any intervention by the government to make sure that these teachers are well paid so that they can give relief to the government in terms of employment? Thank you.
Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Member from Pongwe, thank you for taking note of the fact that one advert where they are supposed to employ is gone. Less than 3,000, you have over 50,000 applicants, which to me shows that something has happened, colleagues, when it comes to employment. Because the first time being told by the Minister of Education here, we had over 100,000 applicants in the teaching service. So if today what you are giving me is a fact, I don't have that fact, madam. We now have over 50. You have gone less than 100. That shows something is happening to the teachers that had been roaming the streets without getting jobs. That's what it speaks to, interpreting that. But your concern, of course you said they have confidence of being employed, but your concern is about teachers in private institutions who are getting very little. And you are saying, what is the intervention from government? Madam Speaker, there are interventions from government, from what is done. Generally, teachers may belong to unions, and they are the ones that negotiate conditions of service. There is also minimum wage under the Ministry of Labor. But really, this is desperation that a teacher can get so low. That shows even the work that they are, the service may not be up to standard. So I will implore, the owners of such schools to pay. Because if you pay peanuts, you also get monkeys. That is the saying. So let people pay. A worker is worthy of his wages. So indeed, the law is there, and we will continue to employ our teachers.
The Honorable Member from Kano.
Madam Vice President, a lot of people had told me to remind you that the electricity that is now available is extremely beyond, people's ability to afford, and that electricity is now finishing like an aviator. Madam Vice President, the hallmark of great leadership is having empathy on the people you lead. There is a time you stood on the floor of this House, and I asked this question, Madam Vice President, because on Tuesday, I'm sure you finished packing, you are leaving after Parliament is dissolved with unfulfilled promises. One of the critical promises you made, which is not a favor, it is a duty and an undertaking on the people that served your government, those who served your government, to undertake a very important assignment, mobile NRC registrations. They worked for months, contracted dates, 2 exercises, only a few were paid in the first exercise. A huge list of those were not paid, both in the first exercise and in the second exercise. You had promised on the floor that you would make sure that your government pays before you leave. Now that you are about to leave, what is your assurance, or what is the message to the many civil servants who served your government, who you owe a duty to pay? Madam Vice President, ukukwatolu say having empathy, chifundo on your people is what the people are asking. Have mercy on your people. When are you going to pay them? Now that you are leaving on Tuesday. Thank you, Madam Vice President.
Thank you. Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Nkana. Honourable Member for Nkana. Yeah, the
honourable members, please. The honourable member for Nkana has asked a question. He is listening to the answer now. Don't distract him.
Thank you very much. I think the honourable member makes a preamble to his mobile issue by speaking of empathy to the people you lead. There is no more government that is more empathetic than this government. That is, yes, that is why, from my previous answer, I have said this government is actually giving a subsidy to ensure that fuel cost is kept low. You are not aware of that. You are not aware of that. Listen, I am starting from there because you want to say we are not empathetic to the people. This is how loving this government is. Because whatever money is made in the treasury is meant for the Zambian people, not for the pockets of a few individuals. You talk of electricity. Yes, we promised, the minister is not here. If you talk of how fast this is finishing, for me, I had my explanation, but I think there was a promise, and it can still be given because government is not dissolving like you are going. Government remains, and the VP remains. That is true. And therefore, you may not be there, but indeed, we made an assurance that we are investigating what made the allegation made by the Zambians on electricity. That's what I'm responding to. Because people are complaining that they, what do you call them? When you pay? The prepaid. The prepaid now, the meters, is it a meter? Yeah, the power is running too fast. And we promise that we will, follow it up through investigation. I will still be vice president, and we will continue. If this has not been done, I have not followed it. I'm sorry about that, because yes, we made that promise through me to the House that we'll find out if this is true. But even when we said that, Madam Speaker, I think I tried to say the issue is that people had lived for a long time without power. When power was coming for 1 hour or 2 hours, and therefore they were using very little money. When power came full force, it was finishing too quickly. So the perception, but we promised that. So, and there is power today. You were supposed to say, thank you, this government has tackled the issue of power deficit. Honestly, if we are sincere, today, companies, industry is working. This government has worked. Aka India has worked on electricity. Now you are talking of the payment of the mobile NRC people. That's the question you finally asked. Yes, I did make a promise. But if I remember correctly, Minister of Home Affairs is not here. But oh, he has come. Okay. Welcome. Yeah, I will still want to say what I think I said. You can say maybe I didn't say that. What we said is that has been provided for in the supplementary budget. I tried to remember what I said on the floor. That was the promise. And that is yet to come. I think it was put on the table on supplementary. It is here. So they will definitely be paid. That's what I was told. When you approve the budget, Madam, I see red. And I just allow me to thank the members for having been interactive with me. I've learned a lot from you. The questions you ask make me say, now what? And it makes me want to learn more and more. Can we go? This is my last Friday. I will miss it. But I'm coming back. I am coming back in the 14th. Whether not me, there will be somebody here. But we are coming back. And this continues. But I want to personally thank you, all of you, honorable members, for the cooperation, the manner you ask questions. For me, madam, I have no issue. They can ask anything. We will provide answers. If we don't have, we will tell them to wait. And when we are wrong, we have apologized. This is the way to move. Go in the love of the loving God. Go and save the Zambian people. Don't squander the opportunity God has given us. And I want to pray that they win, that the entire house comes back, especially this side. I will be
Honorable Member Fonkana.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Really, being last Friday, I am very happy that we have survived the 45 minutes together as a team. No acrimony. We just talk and we do politics here. And truth always, truth always. Thank you, madam.
Order, honorable members, let's get back to work. There's an announcement that I would like to make. Honorable members, I wish to correct my earlier announcement in which I recognize pupils from Luanshya district in absentia. The correct position is that we have visitors from Luanshya parliamentary constituency in our midst. I therefore now recognize and warmly welcome the visitors from Luanshya parliamentary constituency. I thank you. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry. Honorable Member for Lunte, you've just come in and you're already giving me directions from where you are standing. First of all, you are even in breach. These are the last days. I mean, the last deeds always cause problems. So let's say, okay, you are forgiven. You may take your seat. The Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to start by conveying my profound gratitude for this opportunity accorded to me to highlight some of the major achievements in our industrialization drive since the year 2021. As you may be aware, Madam Speaker, the UPND administration has prioritized the private sector as a key driver for economic growth, working in partnership with the government. When we took over government, our investment environment was characterized by high political risk on account of unsustainable debt, high inflation, unstable exchange rate, and high interest rates. It is against this background that the UPND administration prioritized debt restructuring and restoring both fiscal and macroeconomic stability. These efforts, Madam Speaker, have been worthwhile as we have witnessed unprecedented interest to invest in our country. From 2021 to 2025, we have seen over $14 billion worth of investment that has been actualized, with over 190,000 jobs created in the private sector. Madam Speaker, let me highlight some of the specific achievements that the UPND administration, led by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, have scored during the last 4.5 years as follows. Reforms, Madam Speaker and dear parliamentarians. I am glad to inform this August House that some of the key reforms we undertook have been instrumental to advancing the key investment that we have witnessed. Among the key reforms was what I mentioned earlier on the debt restructuring and the amendment of the Trade, Investment and Business Development ITBD Act number 18 of the year 2022 to provide for incentives for expansion projects. For this progressive reform, Madam Speaker, let me thank every member of Parliament, both opposition and the ruling, including the independents, that allowed for this to go through. It has been critical in facilitating some of the key investments that I will be highlighting later, such as expansion projects under the Trade Kings Group, United Capital Fertilizer, UCF expansion projects, Chilanga Cement expansion projects, Zambia, China, Mulungush Textiles, and the power plants that we have been expanding in the recent months. Another key reform, Madam Speaker, that we undertook was the enactment of the statutory instrument SI number 45 of 2025 on preferential procurement. This measure, if fully implemented, will fully further drive our industrial agenda successfully. The key achievements, I wish to restrict myself and my speech to the manufacturing sector, a sector that I have had the privilege to preside over since the year 2021. This is a key sector of our economy which significantly contributes to the economic growth, job and wealth creation, export earnings and tax revenue, something that is so close to the heart of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. Madam Speaker, despite some headwinds such as external shocks and power challenges in the year 2024 through 2025, the manufacturing sector continued to show resilience. It continued on its growth trajectory, contributing to 9.3% of our GDP, which is the highest contribution since 1990. We have observed significant interest to invest in the manufacturing sector, in the power sector, across this country, as reflected by the huge commitments and investments which were progressively being actualized. Madam Speaker, allow me now to highlight some key achievements, starting with investments in the major special economic zones, SEZs. Government continues to implement the special economic zones model to accelerate industrialization across the country. More efforts are now being placed on developing special economic zones in rural areas, which have generally lagged behind in terms of investment. Number one, the Lusaka South Multi-Facility Economic Zone. Madam Speaker, dear colleagues, the Lusaka South Multi-Facility Economic Zone has attracted investment worth over $2 billion and has created 39,000 direct jobs between 2021 and 2025. Currently, the zone has 40 operating companies with 206 at different stages of development and are expected to become operational soon and create more jobs. Madam Speaker, some of the major investments in the zone in the last 5 years include Keda Ceramics. Madam Speaker, these are investments I'm mentioning that have happened between the year 2021 and 2025. Keda Ceramics, the company has reinvested $150 million and has employed 1,300 more new people. The company is among the largest towel producers in Southern Africa and exports 80% of its total production to all our neighboring countries, including South Africa, while only 20% is sold locally. This has helped to enhance foreign exchange coming to our country. PDV Metals. The zone is host to one of the largest steel producers in Southern Africa, PDV Metals. It has invested $120 million and employing 500 direct workers in the zone. This was commissioned by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, last year, 2025. Kingsworth Starch Plant and Dairy Gold Expansion Project by the Trade Kings Group of companies have reinvested a combined amount of $80 million in the production of starch, first ever starch plant in Zambia and the third in Africa. From corn and milk processing, respectively, Madam Speaker, the two plants have created 1,100 direct jobs and are expected to increase to 2,000 in the next 2 years. I expected to increase an addition of 2,000 direct jobs in the next 2 years. These two projects will have a significant impact in our rural communities by creating opportunities for maize and milk suppliers. Other investments include Proton cables and inverter. Madam Speaker, it is important that I emphasize a point on this one. This House may recall that from independence until the year 2001, Zambia only had one copper cable manufacturer known as Zamefa in Luanshya, where the visitors have come from. Only one copper cable processor. In the year 2007, Newcamp Group of Africa entered the industry and has been operating at low capacity, Madam Speaker, to a near closure. With improvement in the business and investment climate, Madam Speaker, mark these words, from independence we only had one until 2007 when one company set up and was operating at almost 2 to 5 capacity. From 2021 to this year, Madam Speaker, the new Dawn government has brought in 6 more copper cable processors, processing our copper into a finished product, Madam Speaker, helping to stop the frustration of the Zambian public who continue to see the continued export of raw copper out of Zambia to be processed outside the country and coming back 10 times more the high price. With the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema and emphasis in value addition, Zambia has attracted 6 more companies that has created over 7,000 jobs in Zambia. The copper companies, Madam Speaker, that have been created are these: High Power Cable, Proton, Africab, Uniflex, Honsheng, and Jiangxi Copper. Madam Speaker, these are processing our copper in Zambia. And the vision of the new Dawn government is to make sure that by the year 2032, we should be the biggest producer of electric cables in Southern Africa. Madam Speaker, Zambia Jiangxi Multi-Facility Economic Zone. The Zambia Jiangxi Multi-Facility Economic Zone in Chibombo has also attracted investment in excess of $128 million and created 1,180 direct jobs since the year 2021. Some notable investments in the zone include Jiangxi Copper. Zambia investments in the zone include Optoelectronics, which has also invested $57 million in the production of electric cables and has also created 300 direct jobs. Leaf Tobacco Commodity has invested $50 million in the processing of tobacco. This company has employed 200 workers. The MFAS has continued to develop, support the backbone infrastructure to attract more investment in our economy. Another investment, Madam Speaker, I wish to mention that has come in the economic zone is Sunvolt, which is Zambia's first specialized battery manufacturing factory, trading as Heirloom New Energy. It has established its strategic base with $60 million investment at the Chivombo Jiangxi Economic Cooperation Zone. Madam Speaker, for many years after the closure of Mansa batteries, Zambia was always exporting raw manganese to Asia. The leadership of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema has insisted on value addition. For the first time in a long time, our manganese is now being processed in Zambia. And now we are producing our own car batteries, which we are also exporting. The capacity of production, Madam Speaker, is 400,000 batteries per annum. 400,000 batteries produced per annum. And much of these, Madam Speaker, are being exported outside Zambia. And in the next year, we anticipate the expansion of this plant to 1 million batteries per annum. Out of this $60 million worth of investment that has come, and now we are producing our own batteries, we have created over 200 direct jobs and more than 2,000 indirect jobs of people trading and selling these batteries on behalf of this company across the country. Madam Speaker, let me also talk about Chambishi Multi-Facility Economic Zone. The zone, Madam Speaker, as you may be aware, in the past we only had a policy that allowed economic zones to be hosting foreign companies. The President of the Republic of Zambia committed to bringing Zambian business owners to partake in the business environment through the Trade and Investment Bill that we revised in this Parliament, has now given an opportunities to Zambians also to invest in multi-facility economic zone. The Zambia-China Cooperation Zone, ZCCZ, Chambishi Multi-Facility Economic Zone, in Kalulushi, has now, Madam Speaker, attracted $2.5 billion worth of investment, creating 10,264 direct jobs. Some notable companies in the MFES are New Brilliant Shoes Company Limited, a company producing shoes right here in Zambia, and employing 200 workers. The other large company is Honey Industrial Limited, which has invested $30 million in the processing of tobacco. The company has employed 400 direct workers. Other companies are HDPE, pipe production, paint manufacturing, trailer manufacturing, and beverage production. Madam Speaker, I am proud to announce that Wonderful Group Industrial Park has now been actualized. To further advance the New Dawn's industrialization agenda, government has continued to declare new special economic zones, which include the Golden Baobab Multi-Facility Economic Zone in the Kafue District and the Wonderful Group Industrial Park in Chilanga District. The Wonderful Group Industrial Park is projected to attract companies with a collective investment outlay of $2.4 billion coming up and create 9,650 new jobs from the already 10,000 jobs that have been created from an almost $1 billion investment of the fertilizer plant. Madam Speaker, the new investment that will come, 800 jobs will be specifically for chemical engineers, Zambian chemical engineers, who will be working in the processing of fertilizer and phosphate in our industry. Therefore, Madam Speaker, it is an interesting news to the professionals at the Copperbelt University, Mulungushi University, the University of Zambia, and any institution that is training chemical engineers. Right now, we are even in short supply of chemical engineers. But with this industry, Madam Speaker, we encourage more to study and train as such. Madam Speaker, I need to emphasize this point. For many years, from the time that operational challenges beset the nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, NCZ, the country depended wholly on fertilizer imports. This did not only result on externalization of foreign exchange, capital flight, contributing to the depreciation of the kwacha, but resulted also in export of the much-needed jobs through investment made by the United Capital Fertilizer in partnership with the Zambian government through workman's compensation. Zambia is now a net exporter of fertilizer, following the commissioning of the 300,000 metric tons per annum of urea plant in the year 2025 by His Excellency the President. We are sufficient in fertilizer production for all soil types, Madam Speaker. I must make mention that, Madam Speaker, as you may be aware, there is a raging war between the US and Iran. And this is not only providing an energy challenge in fuels, it's also providing a fertilizer challenge to the world. But because of the vision and the focused leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, we are producing our own fertilizer. Therefore, Zambia is fertilizer sufficient and fertilizer secure. And we will not only have decompound and urea for ourselves, but we will also export to the region, in return earning us forex and strengthening our currency and our economy. Madam Speaker, the energy challenge that we had as a result of the drought has made the New Dawn government to think outside the box and draw opportunities out of this. Any new investment that comes in a country must think of alternative sources of energy. Therefore, United Capital Fertilizer has also set up a new energy power plant, which is producing 85 megawatt of thermal electricity power of its own. And it can only use 40 megawatts. The other 45 megawatts, Madam Speaker, is being sent into the grid to complement what ZESCO has always been doing. Madam Speaker, I call upon the House to reflect for a moment and advance and look at the impact of the US-Iran war, which I spoke about. It could have hit us so hard had we not invested in the production of fertilizer that we are seeing here today. Not only the challenge we are going to have, but now we are going to be safe and export to other countries. Madam Speaker, positive discrimination has been a resounding success in fertilizer production, which has made Zambia a net exporter of fertilizer. We should endeavor to replicate this success in other areas that have been earmarked for positive discrimination, such as textiles and pharmaceuticals, to make sure that Zambian producers get the first right of sale to the Zambian government and public. Other major projects, Madam Speaker, away from the special economic zones, we also attracted and facilitated some major investments, most of which are expansion projects, which have benefited from the reform which this Parliament supported. These are not limited to, but are including the following. Zambia China Mulungush Textiles. I am pleased to inform you that Zambia China Mulungush Textiles has officially reopened. It was reopened on the 16th of April 2026 by His Excellency President Dr. Hakainde Hichilema. So far, 140 million US dollars have been invested, and the company plans to expand its operations through a phased approach. This establishment, Madam Speaker, will create employment and provide our farmers with an opportunity to supply cotton through outgrower schemes. And allow me to mention that, Madam Speaker, in the last 2 years, $40 million of this investment has gone to over 2,500 outgrower schemes, farmers that were brought on board. In Central Province, Lusaka Province, and Eastern Province, they have benefited from this. The government, Madam Speaker, provided fertilizers, seed, and farm extension officers to our farmers across the country and buying from them when the harvest time comes. Nitrogen Chemicals of Zambia, NCZ, under the Industrial Development Cooperation, IDC, has invested $6.8 million in modern granulating and blending plants in Kafue District and has saved, Madam Speaker, 550 jobs. Madam Speaker, I must mention, few jobs have been created at NCZ, but more what has been done is to save the jobs. And these jobs, Madam Speaker, are now contributing to the growth of our economy and also to the sustainability of our agricultural sector. Bayer Zambia Limited, Madam Speaker, has invested $35 million and created 506 jobs. Yash Life Sciences has invested $45 million US dollars and has created over 600 direct jobs. Madam Speaker, they have further invested $70 million in the production of penicillins and other drugs. Madam Speaker, this has made Zambia jump from a mere 37% of drug availability in 2021 in our hospitals to 86% of drug availabilities in our hospitals, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the other 14% that is lagging, Madam Speaker, is drugs like antiretroviral drugs, cancer drugs that we are yet to start producing locally. Madam Speaker, Pharmanova has invested over $100 million in the expansion of their manufacturing. Zambia has even become now Panadol secure, and we're exporting more Panadols than we can even consume ourselves. Chilanga Cement expansion, they have invested $20 million, created 75 additional professional direct jobs. International Drug Company have invested $4.9 and $10 million in various sectors of their investment, creating 230 direct jobs. Madam Speaker, I am aware that I'm running out of time. Quickly, allow me to just talk about Great Leaf Processing Limited, the company which has also invested $80 million in tobacco processing in Kabwe and has created 200 direct jobs. Madam Speaker, there are a number of pipeline jobs that are coming. But allow me to say something that is equally important. Sino Great Phosphate Plant, under Wonderful Group, is yet to invest $340 million and creating 1,600 direct jobs. As you may be aware, Madam Speaker, we recently held a groundbreaking ceremony for a petroleum refinery, which is a joint venture between IDC and Fujiangshan Zin, a Chinese company, through investment joint venture, and is bringing $1.1 billion and creating 3,000 direct jobs in Ndola. Madam Speaker, the future looks bright. As a ministry, we will continue to build on these gains to advance industrialization in our country. We will continue to implement progressive reforms, ensure policy consistency and transparency. We will continue to advocate for the full implementation of SI number 45 of the year 2025 to promote positive discrimination due to the promise it holds in advancing industrialization. We will continue to promote local investments. China and India continue to be the largest source of foreign direct investment in the manufacturing sector. We will continue to promote investment to work alongside with other countries that we have. While we do recognize that the war in the Middle East has the potential to reverse these gains, we are exploring, Madam Speaker, mitigative measures. We will continue to explore what opportunities that the war may create that Zambia could exploit. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I wish to reiterate President Hakainde Hichilema's mode of investment that he has advocated for. Let us invest within ourselves and with foreign direct investment through partnerships and joint venture, enhancing, investing together, producing in Zambia, processing in Zambia, marketing from here, and selling together to the rest of the world. Madam Speaker, as Ministry responsible for investment and promotion, we will count on you as we bring more progressive business reforms to this House. I submit.
Thank you very much. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Madam Speaker, the Minister has given a mouthful statement. Industries are in different strata. There is primary industry that has to do with the extraction. There is secondary industry that has to do with the manufacturing. There is tertiary that has to do with services. Quaternary that has to do with the knowledge and information. And quinary that has to do with the issue of decision making. The Minister has given us a return of things that government seem to control. I want to ask the Minister, many of the things that he has talked about are mainly in private hands. What safety measures? Because for us to have value of the economy, it means that some of these things should be having value within our country. What safety measures have you put in place to coordinate all types of industries as a ministry so that it has a trickle-down effect on a Zambian than just giving a return? At the end of the day, maybe we don't have a trickle-down effect and coordination system to coordinate all these kind of industries. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
What's the point of order on who?
Madam Speaker, Thank you very much. My point of order is on Standing Order 212, privileges of members. That is 212.2. The House and members shall enjoy the privileges and the immunities prescribed under the National Assembly powers and privileges. Madam Speaker, I've been denied the privilege to ask a question that you had to grant it.
Order. Honorable member, you are completely out of order. You cannot raise a point of order on the presiding officer that you have. May you take your seat?
Madam Speaker, you granted.
May you please take your seat, honorable member? The honorable member for Nakonde is completely out of order. 4 years, 5 years in this house. Today is one of the last days. This is the last Friday. We have honorable members who are still not familiar on the procedures and rules and regulations of this house. I feel sorry for you, honorable member. May we proceed? The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
So, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Member for Chilubi for asking a question. He used a lot of philosophical terms which were difficult for me to comprehend to some extent, but I got what he was talking about. But, Madam Speaker, I want to remind the House that in the year 2023, when the UPND government, for the first time, produced fertilizer under United Capital Fertilizer, the Honorable Member for Chilubi came to their house to discredit the fertilizer that we produced as a country and saying this local fertilizer is of inferior quality, we want to continue importing. Madam Speaker, until Tanzania and Botswana made more orders for Zambian fertilizer because it was very good. Madam Speaker, the fertilizer has been servicing this country and it has been produced customized based on the soil composition, agronomics in each region. And Chilubi today is benefiting from President Hakainde Hichilema's ingenious way of servicing the country. Now, answering the question where he said, what has it that government have put in place to guarantee that...
Honorable Minister, let me just give guidance. Honorable Member for Chilubi, you've asked a question. The Honorable Minister is answering. In the midst of answering, you are already raising a point of order. You are distracting all of us. Listen to the answer, and then if you have an issue, you can raise it later. May the Honorable Minister continue.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Now here we are again, Madam Speaker, where the same Member of Parliament is asking a question. If our products are safe, what standards we are putting in place to guarantee that the Zambian people will benefit out of them, and how they are passing on the benefit to the Zambian public. Madam Speaker, I want to assure the Member of Parliament that in the same way he doubted the good quality of our fertilizer, in the same way we guaranteed him that the people of Chilubi will harvest with green maize, with healthy maize, even here I stand to assure him that the Zambia Bureau of Standards, the Zambia Compulsory Standards Agency, the Zambia Metrology Agency has got technocrats who are making sure that all this investment we are bringing in our country, the car batteries, the fertilizer, the steel are of good standard. And they are trickling down to the Zambian public, Madam Speaker. Fertilizer now Zambians are able to afford to access it on time and have them in time. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Order, honorable members, let's maintain order. The honorable member for Chilubi was asking a question to see how this investment is going to accrue or to benefit the Zambian people. What measures has the government put in place to ensure that the benefits or the investment that these private people are investing in Zambia is going to accrue to the people? That was the question. So that's why I'm here to guide. So if you start shouting from there, I will be distracted. I will not be able to follow. So that was the question, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I just needed to remind him where we are coming from with these utterances on these products. The benefits, Madam Speaker, that is accruing to the Zambian public is simple. 192,000 direct jobs, ease of access of products into their shops and to the markets. 2, Madam Speaker, I want to mention, today, Madam Speaker, more tax revenue is being collected and going into the treasury because of local manufacturing processing. The taxes, Madam Speaker, which are going to free education, school feeding, paying taxes and paying civil servants on time. Madam Speaker, those are benefits that the Zambian people have gotten. Under the new Dawn government, because of this industrialization and value addition, no civil servant has gone home without getting paid on a monthly basis. All the pensioners, Madam Speaker, from 1996 to today have been paid who are under GRZ 100%. These are the benefits that are coming out of this industrialization revolution that is happening. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. I hope the Honorable Member for Chilubi was listening, because I see is can we make progress, Honorable Member? I guided, and I'm sure we are on the right track. The Honorable Member for Lunte.
Madam Speaker, as you guided my younger brother behind me here, the MP for Chilubi, you said today is the last Friday of the term, not the whole term, the whole 5 years. Today is the last Friday. And it is on this last Friday that the Honorable Minister of Commerce has decided to come with a series of what he considers progress made under his watch, Madam Speaker. I was wondering, things that happened in 2022, 2023, 2024, last year, 2025, and now, should be said on the table today, the last Friday. Madam Speaker, what has motivated the
So is that
Minister?
a point of order, or
No, it's a question. It's a follow-up question on his ministerial statement. What has motivated you, Honorable Minister, to behave like the way the Minister of Finance behaved when delivering the budget, establishing the whole perceived progress for 5 years when you have been in that office from day one up to this last Friday? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, this is the third ministerial statement I'm giving in this House on industrialization. But Madam Speaker, yes, because this time I've given a summary of all the time we have done from 2021. This is, Madam Speaker, how you can see leaders hate to listen to success. This is how you will know them that they don't like to see progress, Madam Speaker. When they see that the government is scoring, Madam Speaker, they get aggrieved. When they see that jobs are created, Madam Speaker, they get aggrieved. When they see that my job as Minister for Industrialization, Madam Speaker, I'm explaining to what is happening to the country, they don't like it. Madam Speaker, allow me to answer the Honorable Member of Parliament for Lunte. My dear brother, you are a Member of Parliament not for yourself or for political ego. You are a Member of Parliament for the good of the progress of this country. So when we deliver as government, we deliver together with you. And you should go to your constituency and highlight these issues. So for the past 5 years, it is my responsibility as Minister to inform the House as we are sitting in the last day, the last Friday of the service, of the term, to inform the country what we have achieved. So that even the listeners out there, when we go to campaigns, they know that this is what we have delivered. Value addition, strengthening of our economy, job creation. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, without sounding repetitive, Minister of Commerce, you have listed the projects that you have seen get implemented over the last couple of years. Majority of those projects, if not all of them, are not owned by Zambians. And that is why, Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister responsible for Commerce, We can't have industrialization that is owned by foreign entities. What are you doing as a ministry to ensure that the right environment is created for those small-scale Zambian businessmen, those that want to do block making, those that want to manufacture doors, because literally in almost all these very key sectors of industrialization, Madam Speaker, we have foreign-owned entities that are setting up, literally everywhere. We are happy that we are producing fertilizer locally, but that ownership is not Zambian-owned business. So what are you doing as a ministry to ensure that we don't leave Zambians behind in this ownership process? Because clearly, when they make the money, they externalize the money. And this is the core that is coming from most of our citizens. They are saying, how do we participate in our own economy? Madam Speaker, that is my question to the Minister responsible for commerce. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank my dear brother and fellow engineer, Honorable Christopher Kangombe, for the question he has asked. Madam Speaker, in my statement here I was very clear, and I'm glad he has mentioned fertilizer. Fertilizer, Madam Speaker, is jointly owned between a Chinese company and the Zambian government. And I clearly stated, even in my statement, Zambian government, through workman's compensation, that is owned by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, are partners. The President has been clear, Madam Speaker. We want foreign direct investment, but it should be done in partnership with the Zambian public or the Zambian government. So for the fertilizer production, for the fertilizer company, Zambia is partner. When we go into, Madam Speaker, again, I talked about Kingsworth investment. That is a wholly Zambian company, Madam Speaker, which has invested $1.1 billion. That's Trade Kings is a Zambian company, Madam Speaker. But I take note of your concern to see that much of the industries are owned by Zambians. In my statement, Madam Speaker, including Mulungush Textiles, thank you, Honorable Minister, for having paid attention to my statement. Mulungush Textiles, Madam Speaker, Zambia is owner of Mulungush Textiles. But now, Madam Speaker, coming now to the aspect of the concern of the Honorable Member, which is genuine, wanting Zambians to be part of this. That's why this government, Madam Speaker, has provided a statutory instrument which I read here. Statutory instrument number 45 of the year 2025. Preferential procurement and also positive discrimination. We want, Madam Speaker, first Zambians to have access to what we are doing. It's the more reason why, Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Member of Parliament and this House for having passed a trade and investment bill of the year 2022, where now for the first time Zambians can invest in economic zones. Zambians, Madam Speaker, can only pay $50,000 to set up in an economic zone. In the past, under the PF government, it was only a prison for foreigners. Now under this government, Java Foods has expanded there, Trade Kings is investing there, Zambians are able to invest there. We are keen to make sure that Zambians invest in the economic zones. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was wondering why the Kwacha was doing fine. Now I understand from the statement from the Minister. Minister, I'm happy that you have realized that for every country to develop, we need to industrialize the country. Manufacturing is the only way we can develop our country and create jobs. And I'm happy that you have taken that route. Now, Minister, when are we going to go back to the time where some senior members of the executive will agree with me that we used to manufacture, Madam Speaker, you agree that we need to, there was a vehicle called Fiat 127 was being assembled in this country. ITTC, I know the young ones won't remember that. We used to manufacture this in Livingstone. Land Rover, Madam Speaker, was being assembled in Ndola. Alenco used to manufacture trailers in Zambia. Northland Engineering used to make wheelbarrows in Zambia. Minister, when are we going back to this so that the number of artisanals we're sending out there through CDF can find jobs when we start manufacturing heavy equipment and light equipment. When are we going back there, and what message do you have for the artisanals who are coming out of trade schools in terms of manufacturing equipment for construction and industrial use? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Member for Nyimba. And indeed, thank you for acknowledging that the strength of the Kwacha is not accidental. It's as a result of the leadership of the President, where we are producing more and exporting more, limiting capital flight and bringing more forex. I like your question where you've said, when will we start manufacturing? Like we had Land Rover in Ndola, we had Fiat in Livingstone. I should assure you that when you go to Kafue today, there is an economic zone which we call Golden Baobab Economic Zone, which we commissioned last year. In that Golden Baobab Economic Zone, the Member of Parliament is seated there. Right now, the yards are being constructed as we speak. That construction is for the assembly of farming equipment, tractors, for the assembly of electric vehicles, for the assembly of also pickup trucks. It will be done in Kafue before the end of this year. I should also assure you that in Chingola, where I come from, along Chingola-Chambeshi Road, there is also an assembly plant for cars which is being set up by a Chinese company. And by the year 2038, the plan is to make sure that Zambia will have its own car brand produced in our country. So the manufacturing or assembling of cars, my dear brother, will start first in Kafue, it will go into Chingola, and then we'll do other, and even in Monze, it will be done. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Akarikuri. The Honorable Member for Wengwa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, let me appreciate you and your government, our government of UPND and its leader, Hakainde Hichilema, for this massive investment. Honorable Minister, this is a clear indication, okay, of proper achievement by this government and proper management of the Zambian resources. A clear indication which shows that we had 10 years of wastage in the previous regime. Honorable Minister, looking at the kind of investment which this government has achieved in the last 5 years, 4 to 5 years, compared to the wasted years of PF between 2011 to 2021. Is it possible for you, if you have the data before you, Honorable Minister, to compare the kind of development, investment which the PF achieved, because the only investment I saw in PF was violence and beer drinking. Maybe, is there a way you can also help this nation to understand maybe at least one single investment which was achieved compared to these multiple investments which the UPND government and its leader Hakainde Hichilema has achieved? Thank you very much.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, thank you to the noble question coming in from the Honorable Member for Wengwa, where he has requested me to compare the 4.5 years investment we have done with what we witnessed in the 10 years rule of the PF. Madam Speaker, I mentioned it here. Honorable Elisha Mjima was Minister of Health when we commissioned Yash Life Sciences, $100 million worth of investment. Now we are producing our own penicillin. During the PF rule, Madam Speaker, it is when we saw no drugs in hospitals, no pharmaceuticals being paid by the governments. Pharmaceuticals were shutting and almost suing government, Madam Speaker. That is in the health sector what was happening. Today, Madam Speaker, from 2021 to today, we have got drug availability, Madam Speaker, from 37% to 86%. So that margin, Madam Speaker, there is nothing to talk about the PF. Let's go into the agricultural sector. Madam Speaker, we used to import fertilizer. Almost $1 billion worth of fertilizer procurements were happening out of this country. There is no way the currency can be strong when you are spending $1 billion outside your country and fertilizer, Madam Speaker, which was always late to come into the country. Madam Speaker, we have returned the $1 billion and we are earning more when we sell, when we export. So instead of them who were spending the money out at inflated costs, killing nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, Madam Speaker, I should mention, because I'm the minister responsible for industry. When we took over government, Madam Speaker, nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, the 500 jobs we are talking about, they were owing salaries years back. When they produced fertilizer, they were telling them to get fertilizer, go and sell us your salary. That is how they killed industries, Madam Speaker. Today, Madam Speaker, we are producing our own batteries. We are producing our own fertilizer. We are producing our own fitengezi, Madam Speaker. In the mining sector, Madam Speaker, we are expanding. That is industrialization. So, Honorable Member, I can assure you, the PF government, as far as it's concerned with industrialization, they were a disaster. If that word is parliamentary, Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you very much. There is an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member Shiwangandu, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I raise on a very important point of order pursuant to Standing Order 71. I've been sitting here listening quietly to the Honorable Minister contradicting himself. He is the one who was highlighting the number of investments that he found. He is the one that he informed this August that cable processing companies like Nelcam, he found them, which started investment during our time, ever after Metro. He's there, Madam Speaker. He knows that even the first private fertilizing manufacturing company was already in place by the time he was coming. Madam Speaker, government is a going concern. The Honorable Minister is now just remaining with 3 days to leave office. And someone else will come and account for the work he has done. We appreciate what he has done for the time he has been minister. But it's important that he also acknowledges that he inherited some of the works that were done by his predecessors. It's only logical, because in a few days' time, Honorable Minister, you'll become like me. You'll become like me, former minister. There will be someone coming there. So it's important to acknowledge where something has been done, and then highlight what you have built on what we inherited. Was the Honorable Minister in order to completely say the investments, industrialization was a disaster? Because if it was a disaster, I don't think you could have found the cement-producing companies like the Siomas, like the Dangotes on the Copper Belt. So it's important to appreciate what you have inherited so that people can come and appreciate you. So, Honorable Minister, mine is just to caution you that appreciate others. But was in order, Madam Speaker, to rubbish everything and say, lump it as a disaster? Is my young brother in whom I'm so pleased. Was in order, Madam Speaker.
I will treat it as a question, and I'll call on the Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry to respond.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much, and I appreciate my elder brother who has come on board to raise that question. Madam Speaker, he has said under their administration, when he was minister, they started Newcamp cables. Madam Speaker, records are there to show. Newcamp cables was started in the year 2007. 2007, long before PF was in power. But, Madam Speaker, I must mention something. This, Madam Speaker, figures are real. The people from Rwansha who are here are host to Zamefa, which may his soul rest in peace, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda left us. Newcamp set up in Zambia in anticipation that they will have access to copper and process in the country. This country, Madam Speaker, never had a policy of compelling mining companies to give the first right of refusal to the processors in this country. In 2021 December, Madam Speaker, President Hakainde Hichilema sent me along with the Minister of Infrastructure, Honorable Milupi, to talk to the mines on the reason why they should first give copper to the Zambian copper processors. In Kitwe first, in Ndola first, we met with Luasha Copper Mines. He led, the Minister of Infrastructure, led the talks. It is that policy that we revised under the leadership of Aka in the Ichilema, of copper companies giving processors copper, because, Madam Speaker, Zamefa and Newcant were buying copper from London and Dubai, Zambian copper, then they bring it back. So they didn't see the need of doing it. Newcant was not producing, they ended up setting up a new Newcant production plant in Dubai. And they invited me to go and commission a Dubai plant in my country, out of here. And we refused. When, Madam Speaker, we changed the policy that all mining companies should first give local companies copper, now there was attraction for different companies to set up. And it is that reason why, Madam Speaker, now we have got 6 more copper processors set up in Zambia. And they have created over 7,000 jobs. And we are very happy. Yes, and we are very happy, Madam Speaker. We are very happy now, Madam Speaker, that we have got a vision that in the next 10 years, Zambia will not see copper concentrates moving out of this country. Because now we have got processing capacity. And we are still building on it. Talking to the aspect where the Honorable has said, United Capital Fertilizer was started under the PF. Madam Speaker, I stand as a public servant, and I can provide evidence to say that we started it. He was cabinet minister, let him provide evidence that they started it. In the same way, my dear brother, elder brother, I take your guidance that I should acknowledge where people have done something. Also take responsibility and ownership to acknowledge that, yes, you have done what we did not do. Yeah. We started it, Madam Speaker. We were guided in cabinet by President Aka in the Ichilema to say, I do not want to import fertilizer. This cabinet, Madam Speaker, these members of Parliament, Madam Speaker, including themselves, whom I thank, we work tirelessly to bring that capital fertilizer, and we are producing it. Madam Speaker, let me tell you and justify why I say that it was a disaster. This government, the PF government, borrowed $120 million worth of Eurobonds. Yeah. And part of $120 million, $50 million was supposed to go to NCZ. Madam Speaker, NCZ never got $50 million. NCZ, Madam Speaker, was shutting down. It was a cost center for the government. What we did was get now $6.8 million out of the Zambian government treasury under the New Dawn government and recapitalize it. Now NCZ, Madam Speaker, is not a cost center. It is generating its money, it's contributing to the FISIP, and we are growing. They killed the industries, Madam Speaker. All they knew was to import at a high cost. The question was on point from a member of Parliament for Wengwa. In the last 10 years of the PF and the last 5 years of the UPND, compare them, Madam Speaker. Yeah. Indeed, Madam Speaker, where it is right for me to give accolades, I would give accolades. But on the point of industrialization, Madam Speaker, it was a disaster. Yeah. I submit. Yeah.
What's the point of order, Honorable Member Fonkana? That was a point of order that was raised by let me just guide. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu raised a point of order. Now you are raising a point of order on another point of order. Is it not, is it something else? You can proceed. What's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, I'm just compelled, based on Standing Order number 71, on the response that has come from the Minister in regards to Neocant. I remember I was part of the people that went to witness the commissioning of Neocant, which is based in Masaiti, in 2016 thereabout. I was serving as district commissioner then. Neocant Zambia, Madam Speaker, was started in 2015. So the information that has been provided in this House that Neocant started in 2007 is not true. Is the minister in order to provide or furnish this House with unverified or information that is not truth? It therefore jeopardizes the credibility of whatever he's submitting. Is he in order?
Does the Honorable Member have information to verify what he's saying?
Madam Speaker, I was there, and even just a little perusal through Google,
the question
it will give
is,
you all the details.
The question is, do you have something verifiable that you can
even these two MPs were there. Honorable Katambo, Honorable Mulebwa, we were together. Na PS, or even he was my PS. 5 witnesses.
You can come on the table. It's okay. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry says he's going to respond. The Honorable
Madam
Minister.
Speaker, thank you very much for that. And I want to thank my dear brother, Bino Bondu. Indeed, Madam Speaker, when Chava you lack knowledge. Yeah. Madam Speaker, I want to say something important. Yeah. President Haka in the Ichilema commissioned the Mulungushi Conference Hall KK Wing. Right. It doesn't mean that the UPND started it. It was started under the UPND. By the PF. So we commissioned it. It was completed under our time. But it doesn't mean that we started it. And we give accolades to the UPF government for having initiated the construction of the KK Wing. In 2007, Madam Speaker, my team of experts are seated there. It was started New Camp under the MMD government. Yeah. Then the completion or commissioning was done under the PF. Doesn't mean that it was started under them. Yeah. So, Madam Speaker, what facts or what have I erred? Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you very much. Let's make progress. Let's make progress. The Honorable Member for Luena.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for that 4.5 years report card. And in fact, the people of Zambia would love to hear more of that. Indeed, Madam Speaker, it's important that the UPND government acknowledges what it inherited. And just in case some people have forgotten what you actually inherited, as far as economic growth was concerned, you inherited negative GDP growth. As far as inflation was concerned, you inherited runaway inflation. As far as the agricultural sector is concerned, you inherited shambolic and zero production in the agricultural sector. As far as the exchange rate is concerned, Madam Speaker, the situation was chaotic.
Oh, the Honorable Member for Luena,
Thank
the
you
Honorable Member for Masaiti, who rarely says anything, has got a point of order. What's the point of order, Honorable Member?
Madam Speaker, pursuant to Standing Orders 73, Madam Speaker, he is supposed to give factual information. I was Minister of Agriculture, and I'm seated here. He says the agriculture sector was shambolic. Yes. When I left the bumper harvest, records are there to show, Madam Speaker. The agriculture sector was thriving under this humble servant of yours, Madam Speaker. Is he in order to say the sector was in shambolic and misleading the House and the nation? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. For the Honorable Member for Masaiti to have stood up, it's really a serious point of order. So the Honorable Member for Luena is out of order. May the Honorable Member for Luena continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And finally, Madam Speaker, in the mining sector, you inherited a mining sector that was at a standstill, fighting in courts and no production. All these sectors, Madam Speaker, the situation has been turned around. And now, GDP over the last 4.5 years has grown by an average of about 34%, from 22 billion in 2021 to just under 30 billion as we speak as at the end of 2025. 34 billion now, and projected to probably hit 40 billion by the end of this year. And so the target to double the economy under the leadership of His Excellency is truly in sight. My question, Madam Speaker, Honorable Minister, with this performance and the people of Zambia getting ready to decide in whose hands they should place their future on the 13th of August, do you have any words of advice for the people of Zambia as far as what they should consider as people are going to them to ask them to bring them back in power, Some of them seeking to get there for the first time, others with a record that we have just highlighted, which represents their ability and capabilities from 2011 to 2021. Do you have any words of advice for the nation, Honorable Minister? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, I thank you, and I want to thank my dear brother, the Member of Parliament for Luena. Madam Speaker, the reality is here to show, and the Zambian public are here, to see, and to experience. It is the more reason why my elder brother for Lunte was angered, knowing that we are presenting something that the Zambian public now are awakened and will see. As we head out to the polls this year, my dear people, dear countrymen, believe in the leadership of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. It is a leadership that creates jobs. It is a leadership that cares first for its people. It's a leadership that creates entrepreneurs right within ourselves. It is a leadership that creates value for ourselves. So let's go out there and campaign and speak for the presidents of the UPND, the entire leadership of the UPND, because of the job creation, the decency in the streets there, the sustainability of our education and health sector, and the decency of humanity in our country. Madam Speaker, for the first time in a long time, people now are earning what they are working for. Not just being a commander, you put on a boot, you insult someone the highest and you are paid the most. You have to work the most to earn the most. That is how it's supposed to be. Now an economy, Madam Speaker, is growing. The more we work, the more we sell, the more we earn. The more we earn, the more we strengthen our economy. Not trading, Madam Speaker, with inflated figures. The UPND government, Madam Speaker, under President Hakainde Hichilema, is the way to go. So may Zambians turn out in large numbers and go forward with President Hakainde Hichilema. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Lunte was trying to say something, and I asked him to wait. What's the issue, Honorable Member for Lunte?
Madam Speaker, I'm extremely troubled with what is being transacted on the floor of the House. I am unhappy, particularly because the Honorable Minister decides to bring me in his debate. But before he did so, I expect that from him anyway. Before he did so, I was raising a point of order on my honorable colleague, the MP for Luena, Madam Speaker. The MP for Luena has got a lot of information, and you can find a lot of negative things about the previous administration. But he chooses even what isn't negative. Madam Speaker, in highlighting a series of what he thinks that minister inherited, he says the economy you inherited negative. Madam Speaker, negative economy in this country was there in 2020. In 2021, when UPND came into power, the economy grew by 4.6%. The records are here or in the assembly. That was the quarter 4. Now you can say, no, by quarter 4 they were already there. In quarter 3, before they came, the economy grew by 3.5%. The records are here in this House. Is that, Honorable Member, in order to pick on innocent GDP, which was growing at 4.6% when UPND came into power? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Innocent. There is a point of order from the Honorable Minister of Infrastructure and
Madam Speaker, my point of order is premised on 671, that what we say in this Parliament must be truthful. Is the Honorable Member for Lunte not aware, Madam Speaker, is he in order to state that we inherited an economy that was growing at 4%? I think that's a figure that I mentioned. When in actual fact, we inherited an economy that was minus 2.8%, which meant that we inherited an economy that was in recession. That was 2021 which we inherited. These are the figures we have. Madam Speaker, is in order. Thank you.
So, honorable members, all of you are out of order. So let's get back to business. The honorable member for Kafurafuta.
Madam Speaker, I sincerely thank you for the opportunity to ask a question to the Minister of Commerce and Industry on our last Friday in here. Madam Speaker, it's one thing to brag about the companies that have been opened and to call out the figures that have gotten employment. It's another thing to ensure that the Zambian people that have been employed by those companies are enjoying employment rights. And among all those companies that is talked about, how many jobs are pensionable? I suspect he might say that's up to the Labor Ministry. But for him to come on the floor and brag the way he bragged, I would like him to tell us how many pensionable jobs.
Sorry, honorable member for Kafurafuta, the word you used, please use a better word. The word you used, I think it's not, in the context that you put it, is not parliamentary. Please use honorable words. You may proceed.
Which word, Madam Speaker?
You said bragging.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Madam Speaker, and I withdraw that word. Is boasting about all those numbers. Madam Speaker, I come from a place where there are so many companies, but with slavery conditions, which one time that honorable minister came, and I wouldn't want to embarrass him to the nation, because I know if I were to talk to him one-on-one, what he's done is not in the interest of the Zambian people. All I want is how many pensionable jobs do we have from the companies he's talked about, and how many of those companies have given the Zambian people employment rights? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, I am a public servant, and the works I do are in public domain. When we stand to speak to the public here, it's not to boast or the unparliamentary word you used, but it's to inform the nation. When I visit Masaiti, Madam Speaker, it's in public domain. He has made an assertion there that he doesn't want to embarrass me of what I did. Let him bring it here in the floor of the House, what I did. So that the world will know what I did, and let him prove it. When I work, Madam Speaker, I work in full view of the public. Media and everyone covers what I do. Madam Speaker, the last time I went to Masaiti, Speaker, is over a year. And let him say what I did. And if indeed, honorable member, we are holding on to ills of others, then we are part and parcel. We are accomplices. Madam Speaker, here I am. With clean hands I come. Let it be brought on the table on the floor of the House. He who alleges must prove. But now to answer a question, Madam Speaker, which he has said, what have we done? Or how many jobs are pensionable? Madam Speaker, part of the area which he owns, there is Dangote, which I never mentioned, but I talked about Chilanga. There has been an expansion project in Chilanga, which I should have gone there, Madam Speaker, to commission the expansion project. But I'm very grateful that the Minister of Mines and the Minister of Copper Belt, Honorable Elisha Matambo, went there to commission it. Chilanga has got decent pensionable jobs. This I can tell you. And even yourself as Member of Parliament, don't wait to come and give sessions in Parliament. Go to those areas. I do that in my constituency as Member of Parliament, to find out this expansion project. What have you done? How many people are employed? Even when we invite you as members of Parliament, you see ministers are there. Come be a part of us. You are partners in development. You are willing to come. But, Madam Speaker, I take great exception on the assertion he has made. He has brought on the floor of the House. He says he doesn't want to embarrass me. If I am at fault, Madam Speaker, I am a public servant.
let me be found fault for one thing. And let him present that evidence that he knows what I did. Madam Speaker, with clean hands, I stand and I speak. I submit.
Thank you very much. That concludes that sector. But honorable members, as we debate and ask questions, let's not threaten to embarrass or to bring things, especially when we don't have or we don't intend. So if we don't intend, then let's not mention. Questions for oral answer, understanding order 80. The honorable member for Chilubi.
348, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member for Chilubi, Honorable Mulenga Fube, is asking the Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development the following questions. A, whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate the Serenge-Samfya Road to motorable standard. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. C, what the estimated cost of the project is. D, what the time frame for the completion of the project is. And E, if there are no such plans, why? And we answer as follows. A, the government of the Republic of Zambia has plans to rehabilitate the Serenge-Samfya Road to motorable standard. B, the plans will be implemented once funds are secured from the Treasury. C, the estimated cost to rehabilitate the Serenge-Samfya Road to motorable standard will be known once the final designs are approved and available. D, the time frame for the completion of the project is approximately 36 months after commencement of works. And E, as stated in A above, GRZ has plans to rehabilitate the Serenge-Samfya Road motorable standard. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I appreciate what the Minister said. Madam Speaker, the road in question, it's actually an international road in some way because it links, does not just link Samfya and the like. That is what is popularly known as the Tuta Serenge Road. And currently, it's in a very bad state. It services people of Northern Province and the other Luapula and many other roads. That's the main road. The alternative road to that one is, this one which passes Pedico, which passes in the former Zaire, which is DRC Congo. Minister, currently the road is in a very, very bad state, especially the stretch housing what is popularly known as the Tuta Serenge Road. Do you have measures, since you have mentioned that you don't have money to look at that particular road, do you have measures to even just do backfill or deal with the potholes that, one, are threatening life, and it's not only threatening life, also threatening commerce? Do you have the intention to just fill in the potholes so that the people who use that road can be saved?
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. And I thank the Honorable Member for his question that shows concern. Government is fully aware of the state of the road, of the Tuta Road. But his question deals with Serenge to Samfya. So when you start from Serenge, there is a portion there that is on the Great North Road, and therefore the rehabilitation of approximately 300 kilometers of the Serenge to Samfya is one of the priority projects of the stretch. 38 kilometers from Serenge to Mukando Junction will be undertaken under the World Bank supported transport corridors for economic resilience. That's the Tracer project. That is the portion that is on the Great North Road. So under this initiative, Madam Speaker, the World Bank extended to GRZ an International Development Association, IDA, grant amounting to $270 million for implementation over the period 2024 to 2030. In addition, Madam Speaker, government through the Road Development Agency is undertaking consultant services for detailed engineering designs, preparation of tender documents, and construction supervision for the rehabilitation of 2002 junction through Tuta Bridge to the Zambia turnoff in, I think the place is called Musaila. That's the turnoff point in Rwansha. So these consulted services approximately 85 kilometers, representing the most deteriorated section of the road. The contract was awarded in 2025 to Kaplan and Associates Limited in joint venture with Phoenix Engineering Solutions Limited, and commenced on 8th August 2025. To date, Madam Speaker, the preliminary design report, draft design report, and draft final tender documentation have been completed. The final design report and final tender documents are expected to be submitted July 2026, which is 2 months from now, after which procurement for the works will commence, subject to approval of the final design. The rehabilitation of the 85-kilometer stretch is estimated to cost about 765 million kwacha. The scope of the works will include, among others, clearing, grubbing, drainage works, construction of pavement layers, surfacing and associated auxiliary works, such as installation of road signage. Madam Speaker, that stretch that the Honourable Member is talking about is about 20 kilometers either way towards Zambia. That is actually the Bangweo Flats, which 20 kilometers towards Great North Road and 20 kilometers the other way. So it's a total of 40 kilometers, which is west affected. We are aware of that. Part of this design is to correct what was done in the past. The reason why we have constant failure on this road is because of the low-lying nature of the road. Those who have passed on this road during the flood season will see that the water comes very, very, very high. So part of the rehabilitation that we want to do is that particular stretch, 20 kilometers either way of the bridge, is lifted so that when we do it, it is permanent. But the answer to his other question, what are we doing in the interim? Spot patching is being done. He will recognize that 2 weeks ago, I think there was an expo in Luapula, and he was then able to speak to the minister who wanted some remedial work to be done. And this is an ongoing thing to ensure that the potholes that he's talking about at least are made better so that motorists can use the road. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Lunte.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, under your watch, the exchange rates are doing very well, romantically beautiful. You have restructured debt. The GDP has been growing year on year. Public expenditure, has astronomically increased. And yet you are unable to invest in public assets, such as the Serenge Zambia Road. Where are you prioritizing government expenditure, which is growing on an annual basis?
Order. As the time is 12:30 hours, I suspend business for lunch break until 14:30 to be continued. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for still being with us on Parliament Television. Business has been suspended for a lunch break, and at the time business was being suspended, the House was considering question for oral answer, understanding Order 80, that's question 348, and Mr. Mutotwe Kafwaya Lunte, Member of Parliament, was on the floor of the House asking the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development a supplementary question. And so we do expect him to come and complete his question to the Minister. And just now we take a look at some of the business that has been considered from the time business commenced at about 10 hours. Madam Speaker did inform the House that in accordance with Standing Order 121, one of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024, the following bills have been withdrawn by the sponsoring ministries. The Public Service Pensions Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 9 of 2026, the Human Rights Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2026, and the Markets and Bus Stations Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2026.
In another announcement, Madam Speaker did recognize staff from, or rather visitors from Wansha parliamentary constituency. So on behalf of the National Assembly, Madam Speaker, warmly welcome to the visitors. We did have honor the Vice President's question time, 45-minute segment that called members of Parliament to ask the Vice President or Leader of Government business questions without notice, and we did have a ministerial statement that was delivered by the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry on industrialization.
Yes, and so basically that's the business that has been considered so far. But be sure to join us after the lunch break in the afternoon. You will be with Muyunda Joa Katama and Pauline Mwonga. Keep watching Parliament Television.
Audio Jungle.